Alright, Schlockmeister fans, haven't seen this one in a very long time. David Cronenberg's RABID. Let's check it out. Our film starts with a motorcycle crash. Both the victims there are going to be okay. Paramedics are called to the scene, and that's when they discover that the female victim is Marilyn Chambers.
The man's got a broken hand.
They take Marilyn Chambers to this plastic surgery place. It was an emergency, and this is the closest thing to a hospital. Fast forward to 30 days later.
Her body is still in a state of total shock.
That's her boyfriend, Hart, on the left. He's okay. Now Rose, that's Marilyn Chambers, is waking up. What she doesn't know is that she was subject to some sort of strange experimental procedure.
I guess I was dreaming.
I don't think you were just dreaming. You and Hart were in a really spectacular motorcycle crash.
Crash?
She starts hugging him, and the next thing you know, he's in some sort of pain. And there's some blood near her shoulder. He has no memory of what happened.
Give me some stuffing. 1 or 2 sponges as well. This wound isn't clotting at all.
Marilyn walks away from the hospital, and then she ends up wandering around and finds a barn and a cow. Now, what is she doing exactly? You saw that little jolt there? She's feeding off the cow. You'll see how soon. But first she has a run-in with the farmer who shows up. And later on she steps into a hot tub and attacks that woman. What's going on? Well, she has this long thing that comes out of her armpit that feeds off people and cows. Remember that first guy she attacked in the hospital? Well, he survived, but now he's some sort of foaming at the mouth zombie. So she goes to the doctor, who finds the hole, examines it.
Oh, it doesn't hurt.
There's something in there. So the people she attacks turn into these zombie type things, and
mine, buddy. I said I think that was mine.
there's a lot of craziness going on.
Nobody with glasses.
Now this is that doctor that she attacked, who's now cutting off somebody's finger in the operating room. So clearly what's happening is that people are getting, rabid, and this plague is spreading all over the place. So now, this is a truck driver that Marilyn had hitched a ride with for a while. Attacked him too. And then he attacked somebody later on. There's just chaos everywhere now. This plague is spreading. Rose goes to a movie theater, and this guy starts hitting on her, and her thing starts coming out again. We don't actually see the attack, but we do see the aftermath. This guy's attacking him, going for his car first. At the local mall, this guy was going to share a cigarette with Rose. Mall security shows up, and this guy takes out Santa Claus. I'm not sure what to make of this scene here. This guy finds some blood dripping. And then his wife kills him. Meanwhile, the city, or perhaps country, have started up the cleanup process.
Okay, Jack, that's another.
Rose's boyfriend, Hart, comes home to find her feeding on their friend. And then he realizes she's patient zero.
What are you talking about?
You carry the plague. You killed hundreds of people.
Two of them struggle. He falls down. Thought he was dead, but he's actually not. Later on, she calls him on the phone. She's in this apartment with this guy who... That might be the end of Rose. Our movie ends with them finding Rose's body in an alley. And she gets tossed in the dumpster. Alright. Let's talk about RABID. I shoveled about 10 inches of snow today and a lot of drifts and a lot of shit. Very exhausted. But nonetheless, I did watch RABID, and let's talk about that. So it's David Cronenberg, 1977, I think this is, starring Marilyn Chambers, who is a famous porn star, and she'd done porn by this time, did porn after this as well. So in the midst of her porn career, she made RABID. And she does have a couple of nude scenes, just topless, though, in this movie. But aside from that, what we have here is a plot where she and her boyfriend are on a motorcycle. They have a motorcycle crash. The guy isn't too injured, but she is really injured. But there's no nearby really good hospital, so they end up dropping her off at this plastic surgery place. And the doctors there have developed some sort of new plastic surgery technique that they've really wanted to try out, some sort of experiment thing. And Rose, Marilyn Chambers, is their guinea pig. Well, she's in a coma for 30 days before she wakes up. Then when she does wake up, the guy comes over and bends over, how you doing, whatever, and she ends up hugging the guy, and next thing you know, there's a jolt, and something's happening to him. What's happening is she has this thing under her arm, in her armpit. There's a hole in her armpit, which looks like a vagina, and this long thing comes out, this fleshy thing, and then a little needle comes out of that, and jabs into people, and she ends up feeding off of them. I don't know what exactly she is, but she has this. Now, when the guy who's attacked comes to, it doesn't kill him. He doesn't remember anything, but then later on, he turns into this foaming green foam at the mouth, zombie type thing, and he attacks somebody, and then it just becomes a plague, one to the next, to the next, to the next. And meanwhile, Marilyn has to keep feeding, so she keeps doing this to multiple people. Pretty soon, there's a plague all over. I don't know if it's the city, country, whatever. It's just everywhere, this plague. The cities start cleaning up by putting people in hazmat suits and shooting people they see on the streets who are these zombie types, throwing them in dumpsters or big dump trucks, garbage trucks, and crushing them. Marilyn isn't quite sure what's going on, but eventually her boyfriend catches her feeding on this friend of hers. And she's like, it's not my fault, it's not my fault. And he's like, you have the plague, you've killed hundreds of people. And then she takes off, and I couldn't quite exactly figure out what happened near the end there. She was in this apartment. I don't know if she was with a guy who she had attacked or what, but she was just trying to make sure that she was okay, which clearly she was. And then the guy wakes up, becomes this zombie type thing, and attacks Marilyn. And the next scene we see, Marilyn's body is laying in an alley, and a dog is kind of sniffing at her. And the hazmat suit people come by with their garbage truck, lift her up, she's stiff as a board, dump her in the back, and that's how RABID ends. Now, this is a very nostalgic movie for me. I haven't seen it a whole lot in my life, but we got a beta VCR in October of 1984. When the cable guide for November came, I looked through it to see what I could tape, and I came up with two movies, Motel Hell and RABID. They're on a Kodak tape, back to back. So these were probably like the 5th or 6th movie I ever had in my collection. So this is an old one for me. I had it a very, very long time, but I haven't seen it in a long time, to be honest with you. I bought this DVD, 15, 20 years ago, but I've never watched it until today. So it's been sitting on my shelf for a long, long time. It's put out by New Concord. Now, I think I'd be shocked if this hasn't been released on Blu-ray somewhere. So that's probably what you want to get if you're looking to get this one. Cronenberg fans really like this movie. It is a good movie. You know, it also reminded me a lot of Dawn of the Dead in certain aspects, which came out, I think, the same year. Or maybe this came out a year before. But also some of the soundtrack and the killings that happened so suddenly, and then there's just a brief, loud soundtrack, and then it cuts away. You know, we only have like a scene of like 8 or 9 seconds of a kill. That reminds me of Salem's Lot in a way, when the vampire just shoots up and all of a sudden he's there, and then it cuts away real quick. So, but again, this came before Salem's Lot, so there you go. So anyway, that's what it reminded me of. But anyway, Rabid, I think it's a cool movie, and I bet you do too. So anyway, let me know what you think about Rabid. It's nice watching this again after many, many years. So check it out, leave some comments, and let me know what you think about it. It's Rabid. Watch it. Bye.